I am the ether. Yo, what's up? It's someone that's known one, and welcome back to today's report. Today's report was sent in by Costas M, where he took DMT with tobacco. And here's the full report details. Okay, so here we have a pretty insightful DMT trip. We definitely need some more of these, considering just how powerful and healing the experience can be. I think there's a ton of potential with it in therapy, but also, of course, some of the most bizarre trips and hallucinations can pop up. But I won't give the trip away, and I'll just say it captures well what the essence of the experience is. I'm sure you'll enjoy it, so without further ado, let's dive right into this. Set and setting. It's about 12 at night. I'm in my bedroom laying on my bed. I'm in a state of anxious, enthusiastic anticipation, as per usual when I try a psychedelic that I'm not too familiar with. I had taken DMT once more a few weeks ago, which my friend had made. That had been my first time trying it, and it was great, with moments of euphoria and glimpses of enlightenment that I'm sure we're all familiar with. The appearance of DMT in my life was somewhat synchronistic, as my childhood friend, who I've been frequently wondering about, texted me out of the blue the night of my 21st birthday, to my great excitement and delight. A few weeks later, I would be introduced to it with my buddy's guidance, and tonight, I was going to go at it alone at home, in my bed. Approximately 40 milligrams of DMT is loaded into a tobacco pipe over a thin veneer of tobacco. While loading the pipe, I am setting my intention to the substance. I ask it to please be gentle with me. The bowl is ignited using an electric lighter, and the smoke is held in the lungs for approximately 10 seconds. Threshold effects, very mild, are achieved, alteration in light and depth perception. So the bowl is reignited, and the smoke again is held in the lungs for 10 seconds. This time, the smoke is much harsh, which tells me that a fair amount of DMT was ignited and inhaled. Over the course of 5 seconds, after the second inhalation of smoke, the invisible landscape creeps up on me, and I feel myself beginning to be ushered out of my body. There is an intense vibrational energy running through my body, as if the atoms that make up my physical body have been supercharged. This vibration is extremely pleasant and almost orgasmic, culminating in constant waves of pleasure shooting up my spine and into my brain. I am aware of myself smiling broadly, as I completely surrender myself to the loving nature of the experience. Simultaneously, simple geometric visual patterns are noted. They are very unspecific, rapidly shifting, and very difficult to pinpoint, almost like reality is phasing in and out. I feel as if I'm being exposed to different dimensions, like a radio being tuned to a different frequency. I feel that I am just about to leave my body. I decide to open my eyes and take the famous third hit from the pipe. When I open my eyes to do this, I am struck by extreme alterations in my visual perception. My vision is wavy and flowy, with a rhythmic blackness descending upon it with the frequency of my heartbeat. I am indeed on the verge of blast off. The pipe slowly morphs, and my hands are alien-like. I quickly light the pipe and inhale possibly the largest toke so far, and close my eyes. Hold the harsh smoke for 10 seconds. Immediately, I am shot from my body into what feels like a more real dimension. The pleasant body vibration is amped up to extreme levels, and now becomes very intense, bordering on unbearable levels of pleasure. Waves of pleasure shoot into my brain in a sensation somewhat similar to the swelling of an intense orgasm. In the meantime, the visionary experience becomes much more prominent. So far, the visuals have been fairly simple, but quite beautiful geometric patterns. Let me attempt to describe the quasi visual experience now. Rapidly shifting fractal tunnels emerge immediately, and I am placed in the middle of them, floating through them at great speeds. There is a feeling that these fractal tunnels are always here, and always have been, and perhaps are the true nature of reality. They are eternally long, winding, but extremely beautiful and extremely complex. They are mathematical in their sheer complexity. It's difficult to even touch upon their level of complexity. Possibly some of the most beautiful imagery I have ever been exposed to. It is impossible to pinpoint what I was seeing, because the scenery was constantly morphing into other beautiful things. I'm astounded to note that the fractal tunnels would gradually morph into some kind of entity, placed in the middle of my visual field. Only the outline of this entity is visible, and I can see its large head and protruding nose. The entity is made up of patterns and beautiful neon colors. There was a sense of communion with this entity. In my mind, I greet the entity, and it greets me back at the exact same time. There is a wave of fear that runs through me at this instant, but is quickly suppressed as I almost instantly realize that the fear is an illusion. The entity is there and it isn't, morphing in and out of itself, into geometric fractals, and then back into the entity, alternating between these two states. I have a feeling that this entity has always been here, with me. Simultaneously, extremely meaningful insights are presented to me. There is an obscure knowledge that I know everything, that all the knowledge in the history of the evolution of the universe and all knowledge of spiritual development is inside me. However, I'm unable to elaborate upon these insights. The experience is simply too fast and intense to allow any coherent thinking. I realize, among other things, that I am literally my breath, flowing in and out. I am the ether. I am the exchange of oxygen and CO2 occurring in my lungs. I am everything and everyone. I realize that deep down inside, I am not me, as I know it. I am not my emotions. What I really am is the observer who observes my thoughts and emotions. In this way, I have always been present. I will never die and have never died. I have lived countless lives. I am existence. I am one with every other living being on the planet. I realize what has happened to me is, in fact, I have experienced the ultimate disillusion into the moment. I am one with the moment, experiencing it at full capacity. I realize that time is an illusion, and the now is eternal and always here. This is very difficult to explain. The experience dies down following this point, and I decide to open my eyes. It's important to note that although I have tried to describe everything I experienced, I have missed a lot of things. The experience tends to fade from memory quickly, much like a dream fades after awakening. I am struck with the absolute strangeness of my open-eye visuals. Everything is beautiful and pregnant with meaning and wow factor. I am looking at things as if I have never seen them before. My field of view is cranked up a ton, and I have extremely enhanced perception of depth. There are visuals similar to Google Deep Sleep. I have a sight that is more than seeing. These after effects last maybe 10 more minutes, and I am quickly returned to the normal consciousness, with little to no after effects. To summarize, the trip was a wholly positive experience that further cemented my understanding and implementation of spiritual truths I had learned previously from LSD and, to a lesser extent, magic truffles. It wasn't necessarily the most insightful or meaningful trip, but this was a mild dose and a way for me to become better acquainted with the chemical. Next time, I will definitely increase the dosage and see what happens to me.